Hobby Quick Hits.
It's time for Hobby Quick Hits. Hobby Quick Hits. A sports card podcast where we tackle the hobby's hottest topics in depth to help you navigate the sports card landscape and enjoy the hobby we all love. Here's your host, John Newman.
All right, another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Today's episode, what I want to see with sports cards if I had a magic wand and can control things. So someone asked me, with Fanatics kind of getting all these licenses and starting these things in a few years, if I ran, basically the question was, if I ran Fanatics, how would I do cards compared to what Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, Leaf, Press Pass, Onyx are doing currently. And so I'm going to tackle that. I'm going to try to keep this episode, kind of short and sweet, but I'm definitely going to go over some things I'd like to see Fanatics do once they start producing the cards. But before we get to that great insight, let's get a word from our great sponsors, Mojo Break. Hey folks, wanted to tell you about the best place to get some of your sealed sports card wax products. Great selection and some of the lowest prices on the web. MojoBreakShop.com is that place. Whether it's a box or a whole case, they're your guys, and they ship around the world right to your door. The Mojo Break name is one of the most trusted in the hobby. From sports cards to Pokemon, their selection can't be beat. They offer daily deals and pre-orders. Who won first place at this year's Topps Rip Party? None other than Mojo Break. Their prices are already great, but here's a way to save even more money. Use the code QUICKHITS, that's QUICKHITS, for 10% off anything on MojoBreakShop.com. They also have a full-service card shop in Santa Clara, California. So if you're in the area, stop by. They're open 7 days a week, so check them out at MojoBreakShop.com. All right, what would I do? I guess basically the main crux of the show. What would I do if I was Fanatics and doing cards? How would I do it different in relativity to what Topps and Panini and other current companies are doing? Well, number one, I want to say I'm going to answer this assuming that Fanatics is not going to buy Topps or Panini, that they're just going to do cards on their own. They're not going to buy out brands or sublease brands. So let me put that qualifier out there first. So one thing I like to see, even though they're not buying Topps, I'd like to see. And listen, Heritage. I've said this. If you know me, I do not like Heritage. There's not a lot of hits in it. It's sort of a collector's set, right, or a set builder's set, if you will. And I'd like to see that sort of change. So I'd like to see some sort of throwback. Now I don't know if they can do that either. So that might be off the table. But if they have some sort of agreement where they can do a brand, maybe a throwback, I'd like to see that potentially still. And I'd like to see it where it's not just for set collectors, that there are some hits and stuff in there that is going to be desirable and chased by collectors. All right, so there's one thing. Redemptions is going to come up. I'm not foolish enough to say get rid of redemptions, no redemptions, right? Because if you ever got rid of redemptions fully, you're not going to be able to get certain things that you would love to acquire. And good things come to those who wait. I know we don't like wait. We want stuff yesterday. I get it. I'm in that boat too. I'm not picking on just you, but if someone has had redemptions for some pretty cool cards and items, sometimes you have to wait for them, and I think that's okay. But I want to go into a little more specifics. Let's have less of them, right? Now with the players having equal, almost very close to almost equal equity at the table like never before, some onus needs to be put on them as athletes, right? You're in a sense part owners of these brands and cards, and so when you're asked to sign those things as quick as you can. Send them back or get them back into the company's hands as quick as you can. That way, number one, they can be inserted into the products faster to avoid a redemption in the first place. Or if their redemption does have to be inserted, at least when that person pulls the redemption, puts the code in, claims it, the company will have, Fanatics in this case, will have the cards back that you signed quicker to get those into the rightful hands of the owners that pulled those redemption cards instead of years later or many months later. I also think the onus has to be on the players as well, right? As part owners now, in a sense, of Fanatics, right? If you don't get your assignment done in time, which in this case would be signing cards, right? There's a penalty potentially for that. Maybe whatever, I don't know what that would be, but maybe you don't get that percentage, or you get docked a percentage of what each individual player is going to make from this new deal, which is the highest ever that the industry has ever seen. It's been reported 10 times whatever the largest deal Topps has done. So the players are getting paid, but put some onus on them to hold up their responsibilities and hold their feet to the fire to make the experience for the collector and the hobbyist smoother than it ever has before. I think the prices are going to be high. Someone asked me, is wax and things going to cost more? Well, if I told you spent 10 more times buying product than the previous licensee, what do you think, right? If something's costing you 10 times more than what the previous owner had to purchase, I mean, just think about that. I think the answer lies right there. So I like to see more onus on the players to do what they need to do at a timelier fashion, at a quicker pace, so we avoid redemptions as much as we can. Again, you're never going to get rid of redemption. I don't even think I want to fully get rid of redemption. I just want to see less of them, right? I still want to have the opportunity to get a great item, maybe a triple signed card, or we see these booklets from these Deca booklets from Topps where there's 10 people. Well, to get those things done, each person in a sense has to sign it and then get it back, and then the next person's got to sign these. So that's a time-consuming process. So, redemptions are never going to be fully gone, but maybe less of them. I'd like to see some of the things we've seen. Let's be honest, card design, I think Upper Deck does the best job with card design from all the major players with the hockey stuff. I think some of the baseball, football, basketball, there's some great designs, don't get me wrong, but we see very similar, right? Prism sort of all looks sort of the same. Mosaic kind of looks the same. We're seeing a little bit of laziness on design elements, so I want to see some innovation. Some of the best things we had happened in the 90s without the technology we have now, right? Some of those 90 inserts are fabulous, are fabulous. But all joking aside, I mean, they're fantastic, right? We revisit them and like, man, I love those. Like that could pass in 2021. That's a cool card, 30 something years later, 25 something years later. I'd rather have that insert than some of the inserts we get now, which are kind of plain and boring, a little lack innovation, or kind of a lazy, done lazily. So I want to see some of that stuff. Remember 91 Studio for baseball with the close-up personal shots done basically in a studio with a studio backdrop, and you get to see these guys, not in action, swinging it during a bat or playing the field, just kind of a up close and personal, and the backs had like personal information rather than stats. I'm not saying an exact ripoff of that, but I'd like to see more of that, especially football. I'd really like to see that in football, right? When we get football cards now, most of the time they're, the inaction shots, right? Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes are, either passing the ball or running with the ball with their helmet on. And we all know what they look like, or most of us do. But I'd like to see maybe some more, without the helmet on. And whether it be a sideline shot or whatever, right? Sort of a studio brand like for football cards. And that sort of thing, where we get to know the people a little more up close and personal, right? Think about the 89 score football set, some iconic rookies in that set, right? Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders. What are those cards? All those three cards I mentioned having significance. They're all big, close-up headshots, right? Troy, Deion, and Barry, and those rookies of Deion, Troy, and Barry are worth more and more in demand than the tops and tops traded counterparts, right? Or the Fleer update sort of cards. So, we think about those, some iconic cards are those up close facial shots, right? 89 Upper Deck Griffey, 1984 Donruss Don Mattingly, right? And the list goes on. I like to see more of those big facial shots. I think people appreciate them. I think they're more in demand than sort of a distance, far away sort of guy swinging in the batter's box. Running back running between the tackles with his helmet on. I like those full facial frontal big cards, right? With a great design around it, as well as the cherry on top. So I hope we see more of those big up close pictures on cards that we used to see. We're seeing less of them now. Parallels, right? Parallels are not going away. I don't want them to go away. I want them to make more sense. I want to sort of have sort of a system in place. Topps, I think, does the best job with these, right? We've gotten accustomed, like gold's numbered to 50, greens are numbered to 99. I like to see Fanatics. Fanatics are going to do parallels, but get some sort of kind of uniformity there where we know, when we pull a color. And let's not get too crazy with the colors, like we've seen Panini go with zebra stripes and camo and urban camo, elephant skin, and all these. Like, it's cool and then it's not cool. It's a little bit like jumping the shark, right? That saying. So, come up with sort of a baseline with parallels. If you want to build a little bit beyond that, I get it. Innovation, things change, but just don't go crazy with the cheese whiz like I think some companies do now. Even though like Chase a Rainbow now, there's still like 50, 60 cards in some cases to get the rainbow. I think that's too much. Let's cut that down. Let's be a little more realistic about it. It's going to be easy for me to say keep the prices down, but if you heard me 5 minutes ago, you heard why I don't think that's going to be the case. But you can wishful think, right? I just hope, again, this is something I don't think is going to happen, but I don't want to see a million brands, right? A million different lines of baseball or football or basketball, right? Just way too many products, right? And I also don't expect it to be, like the old Topps days where, there's one, Ricky Henderson rookie. It's the 1980 Topps. We're never going to have that again, and I think it would be sort of selfish to think so. But now, if a rookie that comes out now, you got 150 different rookie cards from all these brands and lines and parallels and offshoots, and so I think that's too much. I'd like to see that number go down. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but the show is talking about things I like to see, not what I expect to see. So I'd love to see, maybe paring some brands down. I like what Panini does with Chronicles, right? Maybe, Fanatics can do something like that. But, with Chronicles, we see like the Prestige, the Panini brand, Illusions, Donruss Clear, and so on. If you're familiar with what Panini does with Chronicles, you know what I'm talking about. And Chronicles is one of my favorite brands. I love opening. As someone who don't open as much anymore, Chronicles is my kryptonite. If I see a blaster box or a box of Chronicles, I'm probably going to buy it and rip it open. It's just it gets me like that. I just did a show here in Syracuse, and the guy next to me had a box of Chronicles football draft picks, and we made a trade for it. And as soon as the show was over, I got home. One of the first things I did was rip open that box of Chronicles. So I like to see something like that, but maybe, here's the thing with Chronicles and Panini. You're pulling out Prestige or Donruss rated rookie or Donruss clear rated rookie. The thing is that, Panini's still making those brands on their individual own. So there's going to be, if you're collecting, Zach Wilson this year, if that's your guy, or Trevor Lawrence, you're literally going to have 3 rated rookies in a sense, to try to chase, right? Your regular 4. You got Optic too. You got your Optic, you got your Donruss. Now you got your Chronicles, clear and rated rookie. And so they're not making those brands. They're just making them sort of a plethora more in the Chronicles line. I love Chronicles, but I'd love to see Fanatics sort of do that and be a standalone product. In other words, if you get a rated rookie, and I know that we're not going to be able to do that without some sort of deal with Panini, but I'm just using that as an example. You get the new, Fanatics ranked rookie. We'll call it ranked rookie, right, to change it up. I want to see that only once, right? And if they could do a Chronicles type product, Fanatics, with like 8 different brands, but the brands that they do and whatever they want to call them in the design, and they do it in their own sort of version of Chronicles, I don't want to see them release those brands individually too. That's the only way to get said card of said player. Again, I may be wishful thinking there, but I'd love to see that. And, there's probably people who are buying rated rookie cards out of Chronicles that believe it's the Donruss rated rookie when it's actually the Panini Chronicles rated rookie. There's probably confusion there. So I'd like to see a Chronicles type product from Fanatics where that's the only place it comes out of, and not other, where they don't release those lines individually. The Chronicle type brands only come out of the Chronicle product. It can be done, whether they do that or not, or if they even do a Chronicles product remains to be seen. High end, right? They're going to do some high end products, and we need high end products, right? It's fun. I know it's expensive. It's not fun on your wallet all the time. But, we've seen some really bad, I'm going to be honest with you, especially it seems this year, we've seen some really bad boxes of National Treasures and Flawless, maybe to a lesser degree with Flawless. But I like to see, again, every box can't be a winner. You don't want that either. But I like to see. I've seen some really, and just watching some wax being opened, YouTube videos. I've seen some bad 4-figure products. Someone's plunking down $1,500, $2,500 for a box of cards that have 10 cards in it. They open it up, and man, I honestly feel bad for them afterwards. I've seen plenty of those where I'm like, yikes, And again, I know you have to have some of those to offset the really big hits, but I like to see, especially on the high end, that not happen as much as it seems to have happened this year. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just chance or if it's there's some sort of algorithm. I don't know the answer to that, but I hope if you spend that kind of money, you should be able to get hopefully close, worst case scenario, close to what you paid for the product, or at least in the vicinity. I've seen some of these high end boxes not yield much, where the case might be the biggest sell. After the fact. When I'm talking about the case, I'm talking about the case the cards come in. Maybe that aluminum briefcase and that sort of thing. And I generally feel bad for the person, even though that's the chance you take, right? It's like buying a lottery ticket. Can't all be scratch off winners, but that's a lot of money to really get sort of skunked. And I'm not talking about buying in the breaks. I'm talking about where someone's owns the whole box and it gets ripped open and they don't get much in return out of it. So I'd like to see a little bit more onus there. I'd like to see more experiences in the packs. In other words, Topps does a halfway decent job with this, with the the silver, the golden tickets as they're called, right? You pull that, it's in the sense of redemption, you get it, and you and a guest can go to a private Topps event. Maybe Mike Trout is going to be there. They've had Hank Aaron in the past. This year was, I believe, Bryce Harper. And so I like to see maybe a little more of that. If it's not some big event, but maybe a meet and greet with someone. If the players now are at that seat at the table, they can do those sort of deals, right? Maybe, hey, lunch with Bryce Harper. I'm just throwing stuff at random out there. You get to shoot around with Zion before a game, hang out with him pre-game or something like that. Something in the packs that you can pull that gives you that sort of accent. It'll make memories for a collector or someone who bought into a break or whatever, and it's fun. It's fun. Maybe less on-demand cards. As much as I like, on-demand cards, kind of print to how many are ordered, I think we're just seeing an influx of that. It's gotten kind of out of control. I can't even keep track of them, quite frankly, anymore. So maybe cut that down to really significant events where you make a card where it's print to own. Stickers I've grown on me. I was never a huge sticker guy, except in the early 80s as a kid when I had the album, right, and actually put the stickers in the album, which I don't think happens that much anymore. I could be wrong. But stickers, what Panini did with their sticker line with basketball, putting like cards in there as well, including colored parallels. I love that. I call that my sleeper product. I still have boxes of that, still sealed, put away, not listed for sale. They haven't exploded or anything like that at this point, but I think years from now, especially if, the rookies that are in it, with the ones I'm talking about are Morant and Morant and Zion and that class, right? Kobe White and others. I think that could be a sleeper product because not only are there stickers in there, but there are cards and parallels in there. So for those who are doing stickers, whether it's Fanatics, Topps, or Panini still, put cards in there as well as the stickers. Have a card element as well rather than just the stickers. I think that's a great idea. When Panini did that with basketball a couple years ago, I'll give them a standing O because it's a brilliant move to incorporate cards with the stickers rather than just stickers on their own. And if whoever's doing stickers, whatever company does it, put cards in there too. Put parallels. I know I just kind of said we need less parallels, but I like that in that setting. So I hope we see that as well. Don't cut out the LCSs, right? The LCSs are making a comeback, and they're important to this hobby. Yes, I'm biased as a former LCS guy, but I hope Fanatics, recognizes the importance of the LCS and allocates product for those stores that are trying to keep those doors open. And you're hearing rumors, right, that Fanatics may open up their own franchises of stores across the country and sell the wax that way. And listen, it's America. It's free enterprise, right? But I just really hope they don't shun or shut out the existing LCSs. Distribution is what it is. I don't want to see anyone be hurt or lose their job, but unfortunately, there's going to be fallout from the new sheriff in town, and it is what it is, right? I just hope the best for everybody. So there's some of the things basically off the top of my head that I'd like to see with Fanatics once they get going. Again, all these are said with the assumption that Fanatics is not going to buy the Topps or Panini brand or sublease any kind of lines to them. But we'll see what happens. That may not be the case. The Topps or Panini may sell to them. But I did this episode with the qualifier that wasn't going to be the case. Otherwise, I would have done this episode in a different sort of way. So with that being said, let me know what you think. What do you want to see once Fanatics starts making cards? You can, I'll right after I close here, I'll give out our social media credentials. Reach out to the show. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll try to post it on my social media and give you credit. Maybe we'll do a follow-up show with your ideas, what you hope to see with Fanatics taking over basically the hobby. So hope everyone is doing okay, doing well. Stay safe, stay well. We'll see you in 7 days on another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Take care. All right, thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/sportscardnationpodcast/ Twitter, we are at sportscardnati1, so it's sportscard NATI1. Instagram at sportscardnationpodcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Happy trails to you till we meet